What's up, everybody? James Jackson here. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that bell so you can be updated for all the content that is coming to this channel. And today I am talking about what is probably my favorite light set that I have used since I bought it. There's another light that I've been using quite frequently that is competing with it very closely, but as of right now, this is my favorite light, especially for just doing key light. And I think it's the perfect light source if you're doing any sort of weddings, you're doing interviews, even vlogging like this. And I can't really show it right now, but because it's lighting me right now, it is the Falcon Eyes SO-68TD. SO stands for the Sophie's line, 68 is the watt outage, and then TD stands for the bicolor, tungsten, and daylight. This is by far my favorite light source that I have. A reason why I like about it is because it's so small and compact, and yet you get a nice diffused soft light. So it's great for any sort of work you're doing with skin tones, anytime you're doing with people and models. So the reason why it works that way is because it's basically the LEDs are in a disc, and basically the LEDs shoot around, and then there's a reflector in the back of the LED panel that shoots through a diffusion panel, which creates this very soft image. Now, this is probably the flagship of this lineup, if I recall correctly. This is the flagship one of it, but it's a pretty massive thing. Right now, this is outside of my overhead lights in my room. This is the only other key light that is filling up the room. And if I show you what I'm doing right now, let me just get up and show you. This is what it looks like with the light off. And this is the light coming back on. And as you can see right there, that is a pretty significant difference of the amount of light. And what's great about it is that this is not even at full power. This is only 21% right now. So I got a lot of room if I wanted to really crank it up, but I didn't want to do that because I'll just blind myself right now. But if you're ever doing something for interviews where you need, especially if you're in very tight situations, like you've got to go to the interviewee's hotel room and you got to interview them there. Speaking of hotel rooms, this is another thing to talk about. Weddings, prepping of the bride and the groom. This thing is such a lifesaver. So many, I cannot tell you how many times I have brought this to a bride's room, and all of a sudden, not only it's like it impresses the bride, it impresses her makeup, her makeup artist, it impresses the photographer who's filming there. They're all like, no, keep that up, leave it there, because it fills up a room quite nicely, especially a small room. Now, when you start getting to stuff like warehouse, like large rooms, this sort of shows its limitations, and you're definitely going to have to go with a bigger light and a bigger light source to diffuse to get that soft look. But in very closed environments, this is a great thing, and it's just one little panel that you have to set up. Compared to something like the Aperture 120D, you then have to put on the softbox on top of that, and to get the diffusion that you would need. Now, the 120D is a more powerful light source, but it's not necessarily a light source that you need to use at full maximum, especially in close environments like this, when you're vlogging and you're doing things like this. Like I said, I'm only at 20% right now, and the light sources were probably right now about, I would say, about 6 feet away, six and a half feet away from me. And as you can see, it's lit up the room pretty nicely and pretty evenly. It's relatively even with a nice shadow roll off on this side of the face. So, but this is what I love about it. It's so easy to just set up, plug in, and go to going. Now, it does have like a wireless receiver. However, it doesn't come with a remote. That's the sad thing. You have to buy that separately if you want to do that. The other thing I love about it is the power variety of this light. So with this light, you can definitely plug it into a wall outlet, and it'll work well there. But you can also use It comes with two different battery options. It comes with a V-mount locking plate as the main source, which you can then use V-mount, obviously V-mount batteries, which is what I'm using right now, just because I just wanted to get set up and easy. I just put a V-mount plate on the back of it, but it comes with a V-mount adapter that you can then use Sony batteries, and you can use up to two of them to plug in, and you can use those to power the light. So you got a whole bunch of variety. So this is great if you're doing outdoors, or you may be in a situation where power outlets are not necessarily easy to find. So this is great to have right there. Overall, I love this light. I think this is like the perfect light for weddings, especially if you're doing the prep ceremony, or if you need to just focus on a specific location. I actually use this light to sort of highlight, and it like lit up the dance floor of one of my wedding clients, and that's pretty much that was the only light that I added to that sort. But it was more than enough that we needed to sort of just get the lighting for the reception that we were in. The only downside I have with the light is the screw that sort of locks the yoke in place. It can get a little flimsy and can come out easily. Overall, like once you tighten it, it tightens, it stays in. But it's sort of like a little bit flimsy, just if it's any loose at all. But once you tighten it, it's perfectly fine. And as long as you have a very strong light stand, don't get any of these like cheap flimsy light stands, at least for the light of this size, this particular light, because it will overpower and you could there could be trouble. So, but if you have a good light stand, and it'll sit, it'll be fine, it'll work perfectly. But I love this light. I think this is probably my favorite light. I use this light all the time. The commercial I shot for a makeup line was pretty much using this light, and then the others were sort of fill effects and color aesthetic lights. But this was pretty much the key light of that. And I hardly, there is very rare occasions where I actually go all the way up to 100%. But it's there. What I love about it is that I have that extra room and that extra wiggle space should I need it. And I recommend anybody this light. It's a great thing to have. The case, while kind of large, it's actually pretty easy to carry around. I can't recommend this light enough. I love this light. But let me know if you've used this light before, if you've used the Falcon Eyes light. Is this something that you're interested in? Make sure to leave a like, leave a comment below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, as I said before. And until next time, take care.